In this video, you're gonna learn how to code the Netflix.com homepage. So I'm gonna be walking you through step by step me coding the Netflix.com homepage for educational purposes, and you could go ahead and watch and follow along, get out your code editor, and go ahead and code with me. I see a lot of tutorials spend time on high level things, and what I find is hard to put all the pieces together so you can learn concepts of code, but then when you come to code something real like an application, it becomes more difficult to put together all the pieces. So that's why I code these things, these full-on things that you see every day, and show you just how easy it is to code these things. So you can go ahead and follow along with me as we code the Netflix homepage. I think you're gonna really enjoy this. Now I'm gonna jump on my computer and you can go ahead and follow along. Alright guys, let's get started. I'm going to show you just how easy it is to code the Netflix homepage. And I'm just going to focus on just this top section for now. You could save this for other videos, but just this main hero section right here with all the branding. And let's go and do that just now. I'm going to follow along. Now again, I have some default style sheets, just like some basic stuff that I usually have set up for every project. Which just has like normalization, CSS, and things like that. And you can find that in another video. But let's go ahead and get started. So this is where I keep most of my CSS for mobile, which is going to translate to desktop as well. And this is, I have my basic tags here, and I have an empty body tag. So let's get started. As you can see, here's my page. It's empty, and this is what we're going to build. So I have already downloaded assets, basically, which is Netflix images. I've downloaded the logo and I've downloaded that background cover image. Okay, and if you inspect, you can usually find that, and the logo is actually an SVG. So if you inspect, for example, I can show you really quickly. If you inspect, you'll see the SVG right there that's used. So it's probably done in Illustrator or something like that and exported, used as SVG. So let's get started. The first thing I usually do is you create a main section at the top, which is going to hold all of this. So, and my main is going to be width 100%, height 100%. So that's just going to create a main container. Then I'm going to, so here we want to put the background image. So I usually put the background image in something in its own positioned, like absolute layer, which is usually helpful because in case you ever need to do any parallax to it, you can control it. You can put the background image behind the main, but I'd rather put it in its own container. So I'll do position absolute. And I already have my default, I create this class called BG image, which has background size cover, positions it always the way a background cover is always going to be. So I use that class also for BG image. And this is just a whole image. And it's going to be with, because I want it to spread to the end of the main, top and bottom. Okay, so now we are going to say the image we want to use. So background image is going to be URL images / cover.jpg. So I just had some information cached and I just reset it because I was playing with it earlier, and I corrected one thing, which was I had to, because this is stored in a CSS folder, so I had to go back to the images. So now if you refresh, you could see the image here. Okay, there's a background image, and again the BG image is coming from here, background size cover, and it's spreading across the whole region. Now the other thing we want to do is add this left side gradient, which you might have seen, but I've deleted it because it was cached, and now I'm going to add it. So generally this is just a linear gradient, so it's just like linear gradient. But what we want to do is we want to grab it, just you can search for a CSS gradient generator, because we want to get the exact, we want to kind of do it in the exact way, in a visual way, so we don't have to guess. So if you find here, this gradient generator will create the code that you need. and you just need to put the bottom. Both of them could just be black. Um, both colors end to end are black, but then the left side is going to be darker, right? Because if you look at here, and the right side goes to transparent, so we'll make this opacity 0. So, and then we're going to make it horizontal. So all you need is really, I mean, they have the prefix properties, but for the sake of this tutorial, I'm just going to use the background linear gradient. Well, really all I need is this right here, the linear gradient. So if I put it in front of the URL, the image, because it's going to stack and the image will be behind it. I can get rid of the semicolon there. So these are just the values here, linear gradient, and then the image. Okay, so we're going to refresh that, and now you can see you got the gradient right over the image. And over here, it doesn't go completely black, so you can also adjust that. So the left side can be like 0.7, and you can see it lines it up a bit. It looks a little too light. You can say 0.9. So now we have, got the cover, and it's going from left to right. You could, and that's it. You could zoom in, you could zoom out. But let's go ahead and continue. Now what we want to do is I want to create these left and right. And what I'm going to do is just create a flex box left and right. You could float them, but I really like flex box. So what we'll do is, let's say header. Let's say header. And let's put a flex. You can make the header flex. So what we can do is we could say header display flex, and then we'll give it, I just call these sometimes col for like column because it's easy to remember. And I'm going to double this up because we'll do the left one and the right one. So then we'll say header.col flex1. So both of them give them 1-to-1 ratio of width in relationship to each other. And you can see if I put an X and I put a Y, let's see if this works. Don't know if you could see them here. Oh, right, we want to position them as absolute also. So position absolute to the top. And give it a width of 100%. And now we have them right here. So because we're putting them on top, right? They can't be stacked because everything here is, in this case, is positioned absolute, especially because it's a full screen image. So we put the header on top of everything, but it's hard to see. But we'll also give it the header. Let's give it some padding. Let's give it like, let's say 15px. All right. So now you can see here is from left. Now what we want to do is let's put the logo. And I have the logo SVG. I put it in its own, yeah, here it is. So this is the logo SVG. I had saved it. So it's basically this code. And what we're going to do is I'm going to put it, I like to put everything in containers. So I'm going to put it in a logo container. And I'm going to paste the SVG right in there. And let's see what's going to happen. All right. So there you can see it. It's big and it's black. So we want to make sure that we want to put the red color because it's red. So now what we want to do is take the header dot logo, say width 200 pixels, let's say, and we can't see it. So let's make it red. So what we want to do is give it a fill because SVG uses fill. So we're going to say SVG within the logo. So we can say header logo SVG, give it a fill. And you could grab the color. I think you can grab the color right in there. You might be able to see it. Yeah, this kind of tells you what it is right here. There's a fill. There's the fill color that Netflix is using. And you can put it right in there. And there we have it. We got the Netflix logo, and it looks beautiful. I think it's a little smaller, and I think there's more padding, but we can all adjust that as we keep going on. I think that's a little closer, right? Got the it does the job, right? And then the right side, we basically just have a sign-in button. And so let's scroll down to the second call that I created, and I typically give
these classes like a BTN, and now we can see that both of these buttons are the same, so they're going to use the same code. So, and since this is all I'm coding, I'm going to make sure that the BTN class does that. Um, give it a null for now, so it won't redirect anywhere, but it's sign in. So now let's say a.btn, we're going to say give it a display inline block. Oops, inline block. We'll give it a position relative. Give it padding. I'm going to play with this. Don't know exactly what it's going to look like. We'll give it a color of white. And it's going to use that same background color of the logo. So let me go here and refresh. There it is. All right, pretty close. The type is not the same, but I'm not going to worry about that in this tutorial. We'll do that in a different video. Worry about typeface, but in here, it's probably just Arial, but this is just using the default Arial. So I think the padding, right, is off, so we can say 10. That's about like that. Yeah, that looks about right. And I would say it has a border radius. Border radius of about, I don't know, let's see, 4 pixels. Yeah, that's about right. And you just, now let's go to this column. Let's give this another class so we can specify and we can push this to the right. So we can say sign in. So now I can go back to the header.call and say header.call, the one with the sign in. And we could say text align to the right. So now it's pushed over. So now we got the left and right, we got the top sidebar right there. And I think there's, like, again, there's a little more padding. That keeps bothering me. I keep seeing the padding. But, you know, yeah, I like to make it perfect. That's about right. So now we want to create this block of text. So we can say, now let's go down the header. This will be another, position absolute is over the image. So we can say copy block. Alrighty. And let's just put a XYZ in there so I can see what it does. So I want to scroll down. I want to say main.copy block. And I want to position this vertically. I want to center it vertically. So first of all, it's position absolute. And we want to say width, I don't know, for now we could say 500 pixels. And we can say top 40%. And we want to push it up to balance it out. Translate Y, so we're moving this, pushing it down, kind of moving it back up to kind of keep it in the center, right? So now see, it's vertically positioned. Here it is. Okay, so that's beautiful. Now we want to say, it's mostly everything's white in there, so let's say we could just give it a color white. So you could see here it is, and we want to move it away from the left side. And we want to kind of keep it aligned. So whatever the padding here, I think I used was, for the header, it was 24 pixels. So we could say move it left 24 pixels. So now this is going to be aligned. Oops. So now let's start writing. You kind of, you want to keep all these in your own containers. So for me, I like to use, especially for SEO purposes and for helping Google read the page properly, I like to use these as H tags, like H1 tag. This doesn't matter. Maybe that's an H2 tag, and then it's just a button. So let's style this up now. So H1, see what's next. See what's next. Okay, and then we could do it H2 says watch anywhere, cancel anytime. Watch anywhere, cancel anytime. And then we have a.btn, another button, and we already created this class, so that's great. So we could say join for, what does it say here? Join for a month. Join for a month. Oops, let me hide the sidebar so you can see more of this. So see, we have the default now. We just got to style it up here. It's positioned properly. And what we want to do is say main copy. I'm just using the class copying over, but I'm going to do a main copy block H1, do the font size. Let's say 40 pixels. Look at that. I think it's even much more than that, maybe 90. That's too much. 75. See what's next. Whatever. It's up to us. Actually, kind of looks cool. Large. See what's next. I think it has a little font weight, bold. Now, when you do use your typeface, you won't really need to bother with that font weight bold because you want to keep the typeface exact as the one that you're using. But for this, I'm just, I don't have the type. So, and then we'll also give it a margin bottom because as you can see, 8. Ready? And then we're going to copy this because it's basically the same, but we're going to change this to H2 tag. Change the font to about 18. Font weight, we don't need the bold. And let's keep it refresh. Now see what's next. Watch anywhere, cancel anytime. Now you can see that these are all uppercase. So let's do text transform uppercase. And look, voila, look at that. We want to push it down a little more because I can see here that it's pushed down. Let's push this block down a little more. So let's go back to the copy block and let's push it, let's say 50%. Yeah, it's about right. Maybe even slightly more. Oh, that looks pretty good. See what's next. Watch anywhere, cancel anytime. Join for a month. You can see here that the type is uppercase as well for the ABTN. So now we don't want to make all the A.BTN uppercase. It's only this one. So what we want to do is say the main copy block. So we could say main.copy block A.BTN. That one we could say text transform uppercase, right? So that it won't touch that other one. And there we have it, join for a month. It's a little, you can see here, the type makes a big difference. It looks like it has letter spacing to it a bit. So let's see what happens. All those things, they add to it. Has slight letter spacing. The type it's lighter, as you can tell. And I think the padding maybe is a little more. We could probably add more padding to it if we want, which probably we can add it to both. You could see it's a little more join for, we could say like 24, like that. But you can see this button looks a little bigger than this button to me. But so you don't have to, you could just play with it if you want to keep them separate. Actually, you know what? I will keep them separate. So we'll keep this padding on this one a little more, right? Because this is the one that seems to be a little larger, right? Yeah. So I kept this one small. This one says join for a month. Join free for a month. That also makes a difference. I didn't see that. Join free for a month, so it adds more to it. And it's pretty good, We're there. Watch it. The only thing that's different here are slight subtleties, like slight different font size padding, which if I inspect this page, we can find out what the exact is, but I just like to eyeball it. And the type is a little different. So we would want to download, this looks like maybe it's Helvetica. We want to download the exact type. You could see it's more lighter. This one's more lighter, and this one's not. Oh, this also has a text shadow. We can also add that, as I saw it a little more obvious when I highlighted. But it's pretty much the same. Let's just add the text shadow, and we're almost there. So The text shadow is something else too. I like to get a generator for just to get the exact, kind of exact amount of pixels that I would need. You can find it usually first page of Google for the search. So we'll say, yes, you could play with this. And so, yeah, that right there looks just about right. But you can see the blur is going to push it out a little more. So that kind of looks about right. So we'll take this text shadow. All it is a text shadow property. And let's put that into the H1 tag, because that's the one. So yeah, you can see, but also it's white, so that is, we want to make that color. Oh, oh, here it is. It's annoying that it doesn't have like a selector, but yeah, you want to make it dark. Well, now, yeah, so now it looks like it's a lot, so I'm going to bring it down just a little. Let's see what that looks like right there. Yeah, see, it's very subtle, but you could see it. And then you could see that this header is a little, and they're smart because this is kind of like a usability thing. So it doesn't go all the way to the edge, because then people think that there's nothing else there. So what you could do is bring this cover a little higher so people can see that there's more content on the page when they first arrive. So what I'm going to do is take that main and maybe say 9%, because that's the section that's controlling that. And if I refresh, oh, well, in this case, I have nothing there. So oh, we want to take also the background image up a little bit. Yeah, there it is. So we want to take those. Let me see what happens. You keep the height 100%. Yeah, that should be. I mean, this should probably be 90% also. So yeah, it's bringing it up, and then when you have this other content there, it'll be pushed up, right? And then let's just, for the sake of, let's just make the background color black. Just so it looks like, right? So there it is. There's the page. There's your Netflix page, everyone. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and let me know what else you want to see. You could see how easy it is to create, you know, stuff that, these big brands are doing. It's not about making things very complicated. It's about usability. So that's the most important thing. And a lot of times when you make things very usable, you don't need to clutter your code with a lot of nonsense. It's very streamlined, simple containers here and there that make the page look good. It's about the design. As you can see here, there's a left. This is like very, this triangle of the reds, push the eye down, right? So you come, it goes here, there, and push the eye downward, and then the content, you scroll up. So it's all about that usability, how you lay things out, the colors you use. So I hope you've enjoyed this, everyone, and go ahead and like and subscribe to the page, and drop a comment. Let me know what you thought of this, any questions you have, and what else you want to see us do next together. All right, see you guys in the next video.